Hey, yo, what's happening with the YouTube world, man? Y'all tune in right now to Diego. You're on the behalf of Carbon 12 Boxing Club, man. We're going to get into some of these Thursday night fights. Really the co-main event and the actual main event, but we're going to start with the main event first because I felt like it was the least desirable fight out of the two. You know what I'm saying? So, at hand, we have Teofimo Lopez versus Jamaine Ortiz. And then we had Keyshawn Davis versus Pedraza. But let's start with Teofimo first versus Ortiz. Now, let's be real, y'all. First of all, click the like, share, subscribe button. There's a couple of things I want to point out about this fight in particular. You know what I'm saying? I'm 35 years of age. I just turned 35 on the 4th of February. You know what I'm saying? So I could say, you know, as a consumer of boxing, the sweet science that we love, that I've been consuming boxing for, I'd say, at least 2 decades, you know what I'm saying? I came up in a pay-per-view era where we watch big fights, you know what I'm saying, take place, and you can honestly, you know what I mean, put your money on the table or on the wood on certain athletes, you know what I'm saying, in the sport of boxing, and you know, you could trust that they was going to at least come and fight and perform, you know what I'm saying, and that's why we appreciate Mayweather so much, you know what I'm saying, and what he did, because we actually got to see, you know, Mayweather break opponents down for 12 rounds, or, you know, get a knockout in his earliest stages, and I'm saying all that to say that plays a huge part in when it comes to pay-per-view sales and us as consumers wanting to support these athletes in boxing because that's what we want to do, right? You know what I'm saying? And spend our money, you know what I mean? But when we're having performances such as the ones that we seen on Thursday night partake, you know what I'm saying? It just makes us very skeptical on what we actually spending our money on, you know what I'm saying, and supporting these athletes. So saying that to say, you know, with the Teofimo Lopez and the Jamaine Ortiz fight, I'm very big in narratives. So that's why I didn't actually come out with a prediction on this fight because, once again, these athletes haven't really been performing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can go off of their last fights. You can go off of their last 5 fights. And they can still get an opportunity of seeing a whole different athlete on that particular night that they're supposed to have these fights, right? So what I seen from Teofimo Lopez is that, you know, the biggest thing about the night was his actual entrance, I guess you could say, with the whole circus thing, you know what I'm saying? But far as when it came to him actually executing in the ring, I personally felt like he didn't cut the ring off. You know, he's saying that Jamaine Ortiz is running around and things of that nature, which, I mean, you could kind of speculate that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It's something that could be brought to the table, but ultimately it just leads up to you being a boxer and being able to have that experience, which I felt like Teofimo would have, being that he's fought some pretty decent names, that he would know how to actually, you know, execute cutting off the ring. And that was one of the things that everybody in the world had something to say when it came to Boots, when he fought, what's shorty name that was, Karen, or whatever his name was. To be honest, it actually showcased itself that he was getting frustrated because he wasn't able to cut off the ring at times. And, you know, I was actually watching the fight on mute, you know what I'm saying? So I was able to really just watch a lot of the feints, the footwork, you know what I'm saying, the attempts to land power shots, which many weren't landed, you know what I'm saying? It just was one of them fights where it was just like, damn, this is the main event, you know what I'm saying? Now, in reference to Jamaine Ortiz, I personally felt like he did come to, you know, the fight with a strategy. You know, I did see him a lot of the times bring Teofimo back to the center of the ring, you know, and, you know, from that point push out, you know, towards the ropes and, you know, just movement and stuff like that, which I wasn't too mad about, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, if they felt like, you know, this was something, you know, that stood out with Jamaine Ortiz, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, they definitely shouldn't have had no issues with Mayweather because at least, you know, for the 12 rounds, you was going to get to see something partake. You know, with this fight in particular, it was more like I seen Jamaine Ortiz more in a defensive state of mind, you know what I'm saying, which, you know, maybe that was a part of the game plan because, you know, Teofimo likes to actually mix it up, get in there, land some power shots, and, you know, with the attempt, you know, at times where it looks like to me he's leaning more towards getting the knockout. And, you know, I think Jamaine Ortiz and his team probably were thinking that. So, you know, they took more of what I said, you know, earlier with the whole Shakur Stevenson route, kind of being more on a defensive mindset, which, you know, I don't think was a bad game plan. I just don't think it executed itself actually in the ring probably how they saw it out to be. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it brought forth, you know, reminiscence towards the Shakur Stevenson and De Los Santos fight, excuse me. And I seen Shakur, you know, had put a little tweet out or whatever that was that he said far as, you know, Teofimo getting actually frustrated and things of that. And I just felt like personally, Shakur Stevenson shouldn't be saying shit right now. Nigga, you just had a fight 2 or 3 months ago that was probably one of the worst fights that we had in the last 2 or 3 years, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, this just goes back to these new modern boxers, you know what I'm saying? And I'm all for the youth. I love what they're doing to a certain degree, but I think that the social media just, you know, a lot of the stuff that they just got it good now, man. And to me, it's not showcasing itself in the ring. You know, with all of this new technology, with all these new, you know, things that they could do for us when it comes to nutrition and, you know, just workout equipment and stuff, it's just like, man, that shit is not really showcasing itself in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So for people to, you know, spend money or, you know, put their time in to support and wanting to see these fights, these big fights that we speculate for years now, you know what I'm saying, you know, to take place and it actually not be worth the while of even watching, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, especially when it's a main event, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying, you know, in prior history we haven't had co-main events that excelled over the actual main event, but this is probably the second time that I've seen Keyshawn Davis actually have, you know, a co-main event fight and it be bigger than a main event. And I'm saying that because the actual first fight I seen him actually do that in was a Shakur Stevenson fight. You know what I'm saying? And now it's the Teofimo fight. And I actually like Shakur Stevenson. But, you know, man, all that talking that these boxers are doing now, man, we just leave the internet alone. Like, don't even put your input on it. You know, come ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you know. I actually thought Jamaine Ortiz was going to pull this off. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't doubt Teofimo because his last performance that he had with Josh Taylor, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of one of these things like I was pointing to earlier with the narratives of just not knowing really what boxer is going to show up that day. You know what I'm saying? You know, I had to leave it open because I was really more interested versus, you know, the prediction and actually seeing, you know, where these guys going to live up and put on a good fight. And I actually thought on paper that this was a legit fight, that we would actually see, you know, times where they would get it in and do some boxing, you know what I'm saying, as well, you know, slug it out, you know what I mean? You know, not to take away from him getting a victory or whatever the case may be, but it's just like, come on, bro. Like, you know this shit was a piss-poor performance, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really a good fight, you know what I mean, on either end, just to be honest, you know what I'm saying? But it could be speculated that, you know, Jamaine Ortiz could have definitely got the dub. The dub is just simply because if we're going off of boxing or just outboxing a person, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be speculated. I'm not going to say he outboxed him in a performance, you know, manner, you know what I mean? Where we could be like, okay, that was it. But, you know, Teofimo, he pretty much Teofimo's game plan and destroyed it. You know what I'm saying? You know, the last thing I'm going to say before, you know, I leave it to you guys, and I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments, is just how delusional I felt Teofimo was, you know, after he, you know, got his victory. And I don't want to take away nothing from his victory, although I felt like this fight was some BS, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, the delusion that he had as far as just, you know, saying that nobody wants to fight him and all of these other things. It's like that talk sounds good, but we didn't see that in the ring. We don't see why people should not want to fight you, you know what I'm saying? And for you to, you know, be as delusional as you are in these times, you know what I'm saying, where everything could be exposed and there's no information hidden, and you're calling out Terrence Bud Crawford, like, are you serious, bro? Like, hang that shit up. And I don't know why, maybe it was because of narratives. I thought about it a little bit longer than I probably would have, in the sense of, I'm like, okay, he came off a good fight with Josh Taylor, you know what I'm saying? He lost to Cambosis, and, you know, it can kind of be tricky with them type of fighters because, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you never know who's going to show up, so, you know, a person could definitely come out there and get a win, and, you know, I think this would have been a great opportunity for Teofimo to come off of that Josh Taylor fight, and actually show that, okay, maybe these guys are scared of him, but that was definitely not the case. So it's just like, man, why would Terrence Bud Crawford even waste his time with even entertaining you or giving you a fight? Not saying that he was even entertaining you, you know, in the sense as far as actually fighting you, maybe in a verbal exchange, but not actually in the ring, you know what I'm saying? And just even with that much, you know what I'm saying, I think all that shit needs to just be cut out, you know what I'm saying? Let's just get in this ring and do what we do and let actions speak louder than words in your resume, you know what I'm saying? But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Was this a robbery? Do you guys feel like Jamaine Ortiz came out victorious? You know, it could definitely be speculated that he may have outboxed Teofimo, even to the point that he got upset or frustrated at times in the rings, but I could be honest to say that neither one of these guys landed any, you know, standout, you know, power punches or even the jab or just anything, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that I could honestly say that stood out on either side, you know, where I could give it or edge a person out. You know, if anything, I felt like this fight could have possibly been a draw. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, I definitely want to know, you know what I'm saying? Am I wrong? Am I tripping? Is boxing going in the wrong direction? What do we, you know, need to implement? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, till next time, man, I appreciate you guys. Make sure y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, man. This is Carbon 12 Boxing Club.